Hello everyone, George here, back at you. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my experience working on the latest Netflix movie, Back in Action, starring Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz. So, I worked on this movie last year, January of last year, and I believe it was a 2-day shoot. And this was filmed in Atlanta, Georgia. And this movie was a pretty good experience. Not horrible, not the best, but overall an okay experience. First off, I had to do a costume fitting, which I was actually happy about this because this allowed me to go to a movie studio that I always wanted to go to, and that's Trilith Studio in Fayetteville, Georgia, about 45 minutes south of Atlanta. If you don't know about the studio, this is, I believe, the biggest movie studio in America, if not the world. Could be wrong about that, but I do believe that is the case. Regardless, this movie studio is famous for having all the Marvel movies being filmed there, or just about many of the Marvel movies being filmed there, and many other Disney productions, and just many productions in general. This is one of the most famous movie studios around. And I always wanted to go there. I even tried going in there back in 2023, but they didn't allow me access to security guards when me to turn around. So me trying to take initiative didn't work. But whatever. Finally got invited, and it was to do a fitting, which I wore a dress shirt. It's kind of cool dress shirt. It was black with some like brown diamonds, and I got to wear my Wilson's leather trench coats and I don't know, my cowboy boots and whatnot. But regardless, the studio was very cool to see. I kind of drove around a little bit, even though I really didn't see much going on during that day when I went for the fitting. I didn't see, a bunch of stars and whatnot, or a bunch of props being moved around. So that was a little lame. But still, it was cool to be there regardless. And being in that town is very nice too. Fayetteville's very upper class, and the downtown area, the Commons area, is very nice. So that was cool to finally see. But when it came to actual filming day, it wasn't at the studio. It was actually in downtown Atlanta. I believe we were in the Buckhead area where we were at a nightclub. And it was a lot of us there, a lot of extras, at least over 100. And we were holding, which is where, the place where they keep us to chill. Our holding area was in the parking lot in a tent. But again, it being January, it was pretty cold. Luckily for me, I had my heavy leather trench coat to keep me warm. But a lot of, ladies were dressed pretty skimpy and whatnot, for it being a nightclub. So they were kind of freezing. And one day it rained on us, and a bunch of water went underneath our feet, kind of flooded the tent area, so we all had to lift our stuff and whatnot. And the holding area, it was all right. I mean, it was pretty cramped. A lot of us in there. Chairs were kind of crappy, to be honest. I remember this just being kind of plastic chairs. Or the catering being all right, though. Not, extraordinary, not wowing me, but pretty decent food. Wasn't like school lunch or anything like that. And those were long days. I remember, I think we were there for about at least above 8 hours, if not 12 hours. And we all had to dance around mainly. And there was a lot of downtime between shots, standing up. That's why, I'll be honest, a lot of times I tried my best to sit down. I was fortunate enough to be lucky to be close to this like VIP stripper booth area, and I did my best to always try to find a seat for me. And hate to say it, I did a lot of not getting up. Specifically, this one time where I should have got up was when they were performing the stunts where Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz are beating up these guys, and they push a guy off a balcony, and he falls into a DJ turntable. And I got a little glimpses of it, but I didn't get a full image of it. One, like I said, I didn't want to get up. And two, a lot of people were just kind of crowded in front of me anyway, so I really couldn't see anything. But I saw a little bit of what was going on. And it was cool to see that because I never really, in most of my productions, ever seen a big stunt like that, action stunt. So it was cool to finally see how that works and to see it, And now to get to the real meat and potatoes of the story, seeing Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz, which I was fortunate enough to be very, very close to him. I'm talking like right here. I was like just about face to face with them because, again, I got lucky with the scene where they are walking into the nightclub and they kind of just circle around the nightclub, and I was fortunate enough to be where that's where they stopped. They stopped right at me, and me, I'm trying to do my best to get my mug in the movie. So when I was dancing and I noticed them starting to come up towards me, I try to kind of like pivot my body towards Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz and start kind of dancing on them. Not super perverted or anything. I didn't do the dry hump and shit, but just try to do a little shimmy towards them. But sadly, you cannot see me in the movie, which I'm not super sad about. It was kind of to be expected. It was a huge crowd scene, and with those, it's very even more than luck of the draw being seen in that. So, I would love to be seen, of course. I'm very egotistical, but regardless, I got paid, and it was cool seeing Jimmy Fox and Cameron Diaz, which they were very cool. They smelled good. The only one that really was like, animated was Jamie Fox because he was, giving his ideas to Cameron Diaz and I guess the director and whatnot, what he thinks they should do and whatnot. And it was cool seeing him because I didn't know at the time until I did learn on set that Jamie Foxx was in a coma for most of 2023. And that was his first production ever since that. Yeah, Jamie Foxx was sick. And if you watched his latest stand-up comedy special on Netflix, he talked about how he had a stroke. It was rumors that maybe he got poisoned by P. Diddy, which I don't know how the hell that rumor started. I mean, he even kind of put fire and some air into that rumor where he posted on Instagram, stay tuned for the whole story. But I don't know how that rumor ever got started that P. Diddy poisoned him. But regardless, yeah, Jamie Foxx had a stroke, which is crazy because, he's a pretty fit dude. And yeah, he was in a coma for a long time. It was touch and go, where he almost died, which is very sad because I love Jamie Foxx. I know you can't see, but I got a Jingle and Chain poster, and that's what I kept thinking the whole time when I was there seeing him. Like, man, that's motherfucking Django Unchained. That's goddamn Ray Charles. But yeah, also I was gushing over Cameron Diaz because that was her first movie in 10 years, which was funny because the last movie she did do was Annie, the remake with a black Annie, and that was also a Jamie Foxx movie as well. So it's cool that they paired up again. I guess they're became real good friends after that. And I was a supporter of both of them with that movie. I went to the theaters with my good buddy and saw that movie. So I think that should give me some little extra points with them. But whatever. I would say this movie was better than Annie. I didn't really care for that movie, I'll be honest, but whatever. So yeah, that was Cameron Diaz's first movie in over 10 years, and it's probably Cameron Diaz's bigger impact to me than Jamie Foxx with her being Princess Fiona, being in The Mask and all those comedies back in the day. So it was really awesome to see her, and she's still looking good. It's kind of sad with Hollywood how they treat lady actors where they get washed up. They're not as hot as they used to be, so they just get pushed aside. But I feel like this year, last year, and this past few years have kind of been of a renaissance for a lot of those ladies, which is good. With I saw a movie called Civil War that starred Kirsten Dunst, which you don't see her as much anymore. Sad. And The Substance with Demi Moore. So now here's Cameron Diaz's shot. So that's awesome. And it was very awesome to see them in the flesh. Even though they didn't really talk to us at all, which I get it. They're focusing on work. I kind of did wish maybe they gave a little speech at the end, like saying thank you to all of us. But nah, they didn't do shit. I get it. They don't have to do shit. That's not their goddamn contract. That's not what they're getting paid for. But it would have been nice. So, yeah, man, that's all I really got to say about that experience. There's really no drama. The only weird instance of that experience was this one guy I was talking to. We were just chit chatting, and he got a little weird with me where he wanted me try to hire me. I guess he was working some insurance firm. He was trying to persuade me to work there as well. And no, I ain't doing that shit. Insurance is fucking for the birds. But it was still good talking to him because, it is nice to talk to someone with these. I'll be honest, there's so many of these where I'm just by myself talking to no one, like a shy guy. So that helps kill time. And we were just talking about how this was one of his first few experiences working a movie. He's only done, I think he told me just really one thing, which was a Tyler Perry production. I forget if it was a show or a movie where he played a gangster. So, he was just talking about how cool it is to be in stuff like this. And I remember the one other big shitty thing was at the end of the night when we're all leaving, trying to get out of our parking garage. I don't know what the fuck was going on. There was a malfunction or something, but it took forever to get out of there, and that was such bullshit. But whatever. Eventually, I did leave, and they paid all right. It wasn't extravagant, but for what it was, we got paid all right. And now to talk about the movie itself. And honestly, the movie wasn't bad. The movie was actually funnier than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be kind of really just hokey and corny, but it had some edge to it. And it's because it is directed by the director of Horrible Bosses, which I've not seen that movie in full, only seen parts of it. But the parts I have seen in that movie is really funny. So, you kind of brought that energy with this, and of course, Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz, they got solid chemistry. The only things that maybe I did dislike about the movie is that the kids, hate to say it, they did get a little annoying at some times, which I get it with their characters. They don't know what's going on. They don't know that their parents are spies, but as an audience, we do. So when the kids are just totally bombarding them with questions, it's kind of just like, shut up, be quiet, kids. And then towards the third act of the movie, we get introduced to this one character, a British guy, and he's kind of like a pansy type guy. And I'll be honest, he wasn't funny at all. It was just kind of annoying because his whole thing is like he's dating this older lady, but I don't know, they didn't make it funny. Hate to say it, so that was a dud. But the action is pretty solid in the movie. And again, Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz, they're great. Hopefully, maybe we see them more together in the future because they do have solid chemistry. So I do recommend, if you got Netflix, check it out. It's a solid movie. It runs about 2 hours, if I believe, so not a super long movie. It does drag a little bit in the end of the second act, beginning of the third, where they meet up with this one character. But after you get over that, the big action scene at the end is pretty good. And even before that, I think honestly it started pretty stronger than how it ended. But regardless, it was still a solid movie throughout. And also, I want to give a review of that Netflix stand-up comedy special that Jamie Foxx did. Because for that one, I gotta be honest, I gotta be a little harsher on that. I wanted to like it way more than I did because I'm a big Jamie Foxx fan. But I'll be honest, it was a bit too preachy for me. And I get it. The man nearly goddamn died. But he's just praising God a lot throughout the whole damn thing. And being real somber. Which again, I get it. He nearly died. But it was a little bit of a downer. And it felt more like I was listening to a sermon than an actual stand-up comedy special. But there were some funny jokes in it. He did some impressions, which if you haven't seen, Jamie Foxx is a master of impressions. He's really good. He does a really good Trump and whatnot. And Jamie Foxx did some really funny jokes about how he was, having his shakes and shit. And it was a real nice, touchy moment where he brought out his daughter, where he talked about how his daughter was playing the guitar to him while he was in his coma in a hospital bed. Oh, my stomach. And so she came out and they sang a song. I was very touching and whatnot. So, hate to say, I kind of don't really recommend that stand-up comedy special, but you got nothing else to do. I think it was only an hour. There's some funny jokes throughout, so if you're a big fan of Jamie Foxx, it's just nice to listen to him. I've been meaning to listen to his older stand-up comedy specials and whatnot, and his Mad TV days, or In Living Color, I believe, his days. I've been meaning to look up old Jamie Foxx specials because, like I said, he's a hilarious guy. He was a comedian at first. I kind of forget that, you know. I just know him as a big actor. I even kind of know him a lot more as a musician. You know, he did that song with Kanye, Gold Digger, but he started off as being a comedian. So, been meaning to look at those roots of that, but whatever. Kind of over Jamie Foxx now since the movies. Hopefully, maybe I get to work with him again. He's lives in Atlanta, so hopefully I can do another Atlanta production where I see him. So that's about it. Talk about my experience working on Back in Action. So I got some more videos coming up talking about other experiences I've done with other movies. So stay tuned for that. And thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day. Bye bye.